Thank you, Internet Addicts. We are back with our first recap of our favorite It's Just Got Real show, Upload. I'm your host, Anthony, and I'll do my best to be your guide in this quirky comedy as we're actually picking up where Season 2 ended, with the recently downloaded Nathan Brown finally walking around IRL again, and having had some quality time with Nora in the flesh, if you know what I mean. This week's episode is titled Ticking Clock, and it's directed by Emmy Award-winning director Jeff Blitz. Ticking Clock is a totally appropriate title as it relates to Nathan's limited time among the living again, after we saw how the last season ended with his body showing signs of breakdown with that nosebleed, right? He had that nosebleed that we saw him having in the final moments of the season finale. We learned that the nosebleed is one of the early signs of a body breaking down after a mind has been downloaded into it, when we saw that terrible moment happen when they tried it with someone else. Nathan has a lot of work to do in a little bit of time, and there's no telling what he may or may not get accomplished before time runs out. But first, do me a favor, if you're new here, please consider giving this channel a like and subscribe to keep up with our weekly upload analyses and breakdowns. Look, I'm truly grateful for you allowing me to have your time. I understand how valuable time is. I truly appreciate and be grateful if you could also hit that like button, subscribe, follow me around on social media. YouTube still uses this to help smaller channels like me to grow even in 2023. Please like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. This way you can watch these videos after they're published every Friday in order to pick up with us to try to figure out the mystery of Upload Season 3. I really appreciate it. Thank you. This episode opens with us back in New York City, and we see Nora and Nathan enjoying a nice romantically tender moment in her apartment. These two look adorable together. Unfortunately, the second that Nora puts her hand behind Nathan's ear, she sees that Nathan sprouted a leak of blood coming out of his ear, and Nora is rightfully shooken. Nathan then starts to try to reassure her that he's fine, but then his head explodes. It was like somebody used a watermelon as a piñata. It was really, really bad. We then see Nora wake up from what was clearly a nightmare, and the real Nathan is in the bathroom, alive and mostly well. Mostly. Hold that thought. Nathan is still getting used to life in the real world again, and even has a phantom toothbrush moment when he's handling business in the bathroom. I'll never understand that level of privilege, but Nathan realizes he's going to have to reach for his own toothbrush like the rest of us. Nora's ex Mateo walks in, because of course he's there, and hands Nathan a new burner phone to use while he's helping figure out the Freeon problem. Mateo tries to give Nathan some shit and does his best to haze Nathan, but my gosh, is he terrible at this. Like, he really tries his hand at lunchroom disses and even manages to get in a good jab when he says, "I guess you can mooch off Nora like you did with Ingrid." But then Nathan utterly destroys him with a one-liner and goes, "I guess if the hottest woman I'd ever been with rejected me for a dead guy, I'd be a little salty too." And my gosh, the savagery in Nathan's one line. Ref, blow the whistle, this fight is over, we're done here, and Mateo walks away in shame. We then switch back to the digital world of Lakeview, where we see billionaire David Choke heading over to Nathan's digital apartment for a visit. But Nathan's not there, and instead we see Nathan's best friend Luke has taken up residence in his apartment. Luke answers the door and does his best to not make it hot that Nathan isn't there when Choke wants to go bird watching, and comes up with the best lie ever when he tells him that he's pregnant with he and Luke's digital child. And I know this is my first time recapping this show, but I gotta tell you, Luke is hands down my favorite character on this show. Kevin Bigley's comedic timing in this show is on another level and has me in stitches because it almost feels like my guy is ad-libbing this stuff as he's going along. Like, you can't tell me he's not making this ish up on the fly. It's just too funny. Anyway, Luke ditches Choke and gives Nathan a heads up that Choke stopped by. And he tells Luke about their unborn child, much to Nathan's regret and embarrassment. We then switch to Nora reaching out to Alicia for help with their mission against Freeon. And Alicia is not with this shit at all. Like, she is over this nonsense, especially after that stunt Nora pulled last season by getting Alicia to scout damn near all of New York City in order to help get intel for the Luds on Freeon. Like, Nora tries to play it off and says it's not like she only calls when she wants something, but she absolutely only calls when she wants something. And Alicia is not trying to risk her new job playing games with Nora all day. And tells her to send back her employee Ivan because he ain't at work either. We then switch back to Nathan and Luke, with Nathan explaining to Luke how he's farting more and other first world problems with being alive again. They joke for a bit and show us some of their adorable bromance, with Nathan killing the mood by telling Luke that he has no idea when he'll be back at Lakeview. We then switch back to Alicia and Nora, with Alicia tired of Nora's mess, and Alicia telling Nora to go touch grass because, she's got a job, and then hangs up on her broke ass. Nora then regroups with Nathan to go get some food. We then see Nathan and Nora walking through the park and getting Nathan a hot dog because he hasn't eaten yet. The problem is that Nathan is no longer acquainted with his senses, and he's got super senses like a pregnant woman. The smell of the onions kind of turns him off, and we see Nathan can't even eat a hot dog because it's just too much for him. Nathan and Nora continue strolling and flirting when they get interrupted by the cops, who pull up on them right in the middle of the walkway. Like, yo, I hate how the cops can drive in parks and we can't. Anyway, we see that the cop in question is that Detective Sato that was investigating Nathan at Lakeview in Season 2. Nathan quickly realizes that Detective Sato's car is comedically small, and it's a huge inconvenience for him to get in and out of his vehicle. So Nathan and Nora just walk right by, with Detective Sato helpless to stop them. Sato then starts yelling at them about how he knows Nathan is supposed to be gone, and he's investigating what's going on, and gives Nora his card so he can help. Nora and Nathan throw Detective Sato a bone in the form of a clue when they name-drop David Choke as a person of interest. We then switch back to Lakeview, where we see Ingrid cleaning out her closet and trying to get her money back on some of the spending in Lakeview. AI Guy tries to help her with her refunds, with Ingrid still in her feelings after Nathan ditched her for Nora the second she helped him get back at a new clone body. But forget all that. Did I tell you that AI Guy is my favorite character on the show? I know, it's supposed to be Luke, but that AI Guy is really doing the most in all his different roles, and is absolutely my favorite character on this show. Did you see him put on his Prince pants and have the cheeks hanging out? Like, what? We then switch to Tinsley, the temp, to permanent hire that replaced Nora as a Lakeview angel, and it looks like she's restoring Nathan to Lakeview from a backup because she can't find him and has no idea about the fact that Nathan downloaded. We then switch back to Ingrid, who's finishing the last steps on moving out of Lakeview, when we see the digital backup of Nathan appear in the bed and wake up as if nothing's happened. We then switch to Luke, who's holding auditions for a new best friend now that Nathan is out playing house with Nora out in the real world. What's hilarious is that AI Guy is part of the audition along with some kid and Mr. Johnson or whatever his name is that was locked in the bathhouse and arrested at the casino in Season 2. AI Guy, the bartender version, basically shoots them all in the foot when he says that Nathan is irreplaceable. Now, I love this scene and the joke that Luke ends up asking them. He asks them, who's the best basketball player in history, with the kid and Mr. Johnson giving reasonable answers in Michael Jordan and Bill Russell. But AI Guy stealing the show when he says, Nathan if he tried. Did I mention AI Guy is my favorite character? Like, this whole scene is hilarious, and putting AI Guy and Luke in the same scene is comedic gold. So kudos to whoever thought this scene up. This right here is worth the Emmy all by itself. They continue going back and forth on auditions for a while until Luke realizes none of them will be Nathan, and pretty much ejects all of them from the audition. We then switch to Choke Tower in real life, with Nathan and Nora in disguise as the cleaning staff to infiltrate the building. Nathan and Nora make their way into the building after a brief interruption in which we hear the Nora actress, Andy Alling, channeling her African roots to get by some random who stopped them for questioning. We then switch to Nathan 2 in Lakeview, and yeah, real quick, since this can get confusing fast, I'm just going to refer to the Nathan in real life with Nora as Nathan 1, and the backup Nathan as Nathan 2, just to keep things easier to follow. Nathan 2 is up and about and trying to figure out when Family Day is scheduled, since it's a big day for him and Ingrid, which gives us a big clue that Nathan 2 has memories up until the point of Family Day at Lakeview, when he was absolutely still in a relationship with Ingrid. Nathan isn't getting the answers he wants from AI Guy, so he calls his angel Tinsley, who now has her own avatar. Nathan too tells her that the AI guy is glitching because he told Nathan Family Day already happened. Nathan then leaves, but right after he does, AI guy notices that Tinsley totally has a crush on Nathan. We then switch to Nathan 1 and Nora continuing the infiltration of Freeon, and I don't know if you noticed this, but on the wall, there's a big huge note reading, Angel/upload relationships never works out. I don't know if this is just a joke or if it could be foreshadowing about the relationship between these two, but I totally noticed that and couldn't help but laugh out loud when I read it. Nathan is able to access Freeon using one of the workstations, which identifies him as a source coder and welcomes him into the world. And oh my gosh, is that Windows XP? Yo, some of y'all might be too young for this, but that is totally the Windows XP background made into a 3D world. And what? Nathan is super excited to be in this world as it's the result of all his hard work and can't help but make dirt angels in the grass, which kicks out Minecraft bricks as he's wallowing in the sun. Nora calls out his bullshit for goofing off and Nathan gets back to work, but realizes that he can't access what he needs and he needs to get direct access to the servers in Elizabeth, New Jersey. As they're leaving, they see that there's some sort of after-hours board meeting going on with both David Choke and Ingrid's father in attendance. We then switch to Ingrid walking off her problems when she gets a call from the cloning facility, Next Gen, who was able to create a new clone of Nathan from the hair she stole from his brush at the end of last season. Ingrid is having second thoughts on cloning Nathan since she left him until, ding ding ding, Ingrid gets a call from Nathan 2. Who is wondering where the hell his girlfriend is because he's been looking all over for her. Ingrid is utterly confused because he's in Lakeview and wants her to hurry home. We then switch back to Nathan 1 and Nora, with Nathan trying to figure out a way to listen in on the conversation with David Choke and company, but he gets overwhelmed by his senses again when he enters a nearby bathroom to set up shop. Nora and Nathan recognize that everyone in the meeting is a major CEO in tech, but they're also supposed to be competitors. So this meeting with them totally makes no sense, with Nathan messing up big time by accidentally getting the attention of David Choke, who spots Nathan and then convinces the other Freeon CEOs to open up business with Freeon a day earlier than planned. We then switch to the Freeon location in LA, with Nathan's mom waiting in line and spotting that afterlife sales guy, Mauricio, also waiting in line, where they pair up so that they can upload together. We then switch to the Freeon location in New York, with the doors opening in the middle of the night, and we see the first 3 people in line getting situated to be uploaded. We then switch back to the boardroom, and David Choke is ready to get while the getting's good and excuses himself from the meeting and opening the floodgates for all the other folks in attendance to bail as well. We then switch to Nathan 1 and Nora leaving the bathroom, with Nathan bumping into Ingrid's dad on the way out and pickpocketing his ID badge? Thanks. We then switch back to Nora's apartment with the group, including Mateo, and they're all regrouping about what they just saw go down in Choke Tower. Mateo is skeptical that people will believe the footage, so instead they send clues to Detective Sato. Mateo suggests that Ivan and Nathan go to Elizabeth, New Jersey, with Mateo and Nora heading to the Freeon office in Queens to try to talk the people in line out of uploading. We then switch back to Lakeview, with Nathan 2 and Ingrid reuniting, and Ingrid genuinely confused as to why Nathan is acting out of character. Nathan 2 starts talking to Ingrid about Family Day, with Ingrid taking it as a good sign to A, go ahead and grow that new clone body of Nathan, and B, play along with whatever the F is going on. We then switch back to Nathan 1 and Ivan on their way to New Jersey to get Nathan in front of a server, with Ivan coming to the place armed like a Ninja Turtle to break in. But there's nobody there. And there's only one sad-looking computer server in the room as the sole server for all of Freeon. Nathan is shocked, as this clearly isn't enough space to upload the amount of people that they have waiting in line, with Nathan seeing a folder of interest on the server that he starts to look into. We then switch over to Mateo and Nora on their way to Freeon, but it's already too late for those first 3 people we saw lining up earlier. Nora and Nathan finally start acting like they gotta be somewhere and start putting some pep in their step until they come face to face with the massive line in front of the Freeon office. We then switch back to Nathan and Ivan, who found a video on the server with the Freeon CEO giving her grievances to everyone who lost their lives in the Freeon attack executed by the Luds. What Freeon attack? Freeon has a pre-recorded message in preparation for a tragedy that hasn't even happened yet. Nathan is shooketh as he realizes that Freeon had no intention of uploading all those people, and instead the whole thing is a fake out to take out millions of poor people in order to change the outcome of upcoming elections. The less poor people alive, the less people they got to vote against them. We then switch back to Nora and Mateo, who are abso-freaking-lutely terrible at their assignment. Like, they are horrible at trying to get these people to not upload into Freeon, and the whole thing is pretty pathetic. We then switch back to Ivan and Nathan 1, who are not sure what to do with the servers, but Nathan has the good idea of releasing the press release early in order to try to deter people from uploading into the Freeon servers. We then switch to Nathan's mom, Viv, and Mauricio next in line for upload. They get the notification on their phones and see the pre-recorded message that Freeon is about to be destroyed that Nathan 1 released into the wild. Viv and Mauricio try to cancel their upload, but the guys working the upload try to insist that they have to go through with it, and Viv pulls a wily coyote and dashes out of there. We then switch back to Nora and Mateo, who are still struggling with the crowd until we see the video popping up on everyone's phone, and it finally causes a moment of pause for everyone waiting in line. We then see Nora and Mateo head inside the Freeon upload room, which by the way looks like a slaughterhouse room, to try to get the staff to stop what they're doing, and Mateo whips out a pistol to help make the decision easy. Mateo and Nora then start grabbing the drives full of the people who already uploaded. They then get interrupted by Detective Sato, who sneaks up on them, gun drawn and ready to pop. Nora tries to break it up, but Mateo says something near and dear to all of us NWA fans when he says, "Yo, F the police." Things go from bad to worse, with neither of them backing down or lowering their weapons, but after a bit more pleading, Sato agrees to lower his weapon, and so does Mateo. But holy shit, he shoots Mateo. He shot Mateo. Nora sends a warning to Nathan 1 not to trust Sato, and Nathan immediately starts making his way to come help. Mateo is in terrible shape and begs Nora to upload him. Sato then starts talking a little bit of smack about how he's going to try to get money out of the chokes for solving this problem for him. We then switch to Nathan 1 riding at 35 miles per hour in his self-driving car and getting rightfully frustrated at how long things are taking. Ivan then hands Nathan a PlayStation controller, similar to how we saw Nathan with one back in Season 1 before he got taken out. Nathan is able to enable manual override and start speeding the Jersey, but shoot. Nathan's nose is bleeding again, reminding us that there's a ticking clock. We then switch back to Nora and Mateo, with Nora planning on scanning Mateo and warming up the laser, with Nora pulling a genius move and shooting a laser right through Sato's chest. Unfortunately, Mateo is gone and lost his one chance to upload when Nora shot the cop. We then switch outside where Nathan 1 pulls up in the van with Nora outside waiting for him with all the drives of all the people that uploaded, and end credits. And that was kind of a cool first episode for Season 3. Like, a lot happened. Freeon is a scam, but it's also real. And we got to see the first signs of it when Nathan plugged into the Windows XP landscape. And Mateo! Poor Mateo! That dude seemed to really like Nora, and Nora's dad liked him. And Nathan! He's on borrowed time, and it's clear that the land of the living is too much for him. Speaking of Nathan, there's two of them now, with his backup back in Lakeview still shacking up with Ingrid, who is not at all ashamed to be back with her man who has no memory whatsoever of the last month or so. An AI guy. I got nothing. But yeah, I loved AI guy. I just had to mention him. But what did you all think of this first episode? Did you enjoy this one as much as I did? Let me know what you think of this one in the comments, but that's all I have for this one. Look, if you're new here to this channel, do you and me a favor and go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. This way you can join us every week as we break down Season 3 of Upload, and join our squad as we deep dive and break down all the clues. Otherwise, I'm going to have to check you all later. Peace.